something is off. Something is, you know what's funny? It's now making me wonder, what if the first reading I did, like, what if the real reason that didn't work is because they didn't want me to do this reading? Like, this is pretty crazy, but I can't actually see this reading. It's saying, it's saying that it was posted a month ago and that it has no views, but I am live. It's saying this. So I'm so, y'all, I gotta be real with you. Someone does not want you to believe that there is change coming. Someone is desperate to keep you stuck, believing that it's all over, it's all wrong, it's all lies. I don't know why. Okay. This is it's going to be a weird reading, I can already tell. All right, so if anybody's here, welcome. I'm really, really glad to talk to you today. I've already blessed and shuffled all of our decks, and we are going to be discussing the energy that will be in full effect by July 3rd and will continue for the rest of the year. Anyone who knows me knows I am a firm believer that the second half of the year is the most spiritually and energetically potent, and that for this year is going to be a lot. And the number of attacks I've received in the last, let's just start actually with November, but really even just today, in the last couple hours, the last few minutes, I don't really get headaches like that. I have a horrendous headache right now. I don't know what's going on, but I also do. I know that each and every one of us is about to experience some sort of shift that we've all been waiting for. But what I was led to do in this reading is to start first with what it's not. And I know that that may be discouraging for some people, but I also think that sometimes when we're on different journeys, as we're growing, as we're ascending, there can be some confusion. And there can also be a lot of longing and some desires that we'd like to see fulfilled. So the goal here is to make certain that we're not missing what it actually is because we think we know, but we really have no idea. I want to share this. Am I on my own channel? Yes. I'm going to share this really quick to make sure, because I don't think everyone who's supposed to see this is going to see this if I don't. All right, let me set up our spread and then we will dive into the reading. While I'm doing this, I would really appreciate if there is anybody here. Would you please share with me what it is that's been going on with you? Like, if you can agree that things have been tough since November of 2024, okay? And also that there's been a shift. You can't quite figure out what it is, but since like mid-May, end of May, early June, something's different, but it's not over yet. So there's, like, what? If what I just said is like, yep. Okay. What is going on? If you can't describe it directly, be indirect. Okay. What is happening in your life? How did you know that back in November when all of this started, that it was worse than ever, right? Like, I feel that everyone I've spoken to agrees that November of 2024 brought about a very distinct ickiness that they had not felt in a long time and not at that magnitude, and it has not gone away at all. So I would like to know if that's true for you as well, and if it is, what is it? Can you describe it? I'd like to know if it is a individual thing that we're all experiencing collectively, or if it's a collective energy, that'd be good to know. Ooh. Whoa. There we are. Okay. Keep going. What do we need to know right now? What is it not? Okay. Thank you. I'll put this. Actually, I need one more. What is it? What is it? All right, we've got our answer. Grab this. What else do we need to know? Okay. It's weird. What else do we need to know right now? Okay. And what else? Oh, this is just reversed. I'm like, what was that about? Okay. Or is there more? Look at this. There's like a whole stack of cards in here that were facing the wrong direction. Okay. What do we need to know? What do we need to know right now? Okay. Here we go, friends. So, first thing, and remember, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to help you hone in on what it is instead of having to sift through and figure out what it's not. All right. So, first things first, what is something that you may assume when you're receiving these downloads, when you're looking at the future and what it holds and the shift and what's available? What is it that you're thinking of that divine is saying, I need you to veer away from that because it's going to distract you or confuse you? Okay, so first things first is Seven of Swords. And I think what this says is there is a part of you that can feel the ending, and the end is near with this season. I acknowledge that. But it will not happen tomorrow for you unless you're watching this in the future, right? But if you're watching this live or you're watching this when it was posted around mid-June, late June, it's not right this second. There is a part of you that believes that it is time to be done, that it is over, that it is no longer necessary or something, right? That it's like, I just want to be done and be over with it. But here's the thing. There is one more thing that you need to gather. There is one thing that you are still missing. Now, the beauty is, now that you're aware that this season is coming to a close, you can be on the lookout for the missing piece. And the missing piece is going to be the most important piece. And you know how I know that? If there's a 1,000-piece puzzle, there's no piece that's more important than the other, right? I mean, it's a puzzle. They're all just random pieces. Yeah, that is until you have spent hours doing the puzzle and you finish it except for one piece. Then you will look for that piece like a mad person. Because it's like, are you kidding me? You'll think, I bet they better not have forgotten to put the piece in the box. It better be somewhere around here. You'll think, how did I not notice myself vacuuming up or sweeping up or throwing away a puzzle piece? You'll go crazy trying to find that puzzle piece. And that is what divine is trying to get you to understand right now. This is not a time to be like, oh, I guess I'm done doing the puzzle. No, you were meant to complete it and the puzzle piece is there, but you didn't know that you were missing it until now. Okay. And you've got to get past that feeling of, I give up, I'm done, I can't handle it. It is what it is. There's nothing missing. I just went the wrong direction. Like there's all these different things that you're telling yourself out of fear, out of doubt that are not true. And divine is saying, listen to me. You have been on the right path. You have been in the right place. You are not done, but you will be soon. Okay? Okay. What else? What else is it that divine is trying to get your attention about? You are right. What you are feeling is correct. Things are changing. Things are moving forward. And it will be very, very, very different. Okay? But hold on, before you make an assumption or you think it's like, oh, finally, the thing I have told myself is the only thing that'll matter. It must be that because that's all I care about. It's like, hold on. What else is it divine is saying? Wait a second now. Knight of Pentacles. This says it's not time to settle yet. Okay, I want to let that sink in for a moment because I think that's going to be different for everybody. Take a moment. Divine is saying it's not time to settle yet. What could that mean to you? It's not time to settle. Okay, now, what I think this says is divine has a field. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh my gosh. Oh, and as I'm speaking, my headache is lifting out of my head. Oh my gosh, that's weird. That is so weird. Yeah, it's still there, but it was like that actually made my head feel better. Whoa. Y'all, your vibrational field, your atmosphere, the environment that you're in that is made up of all the energies around you, your energy inside, divine energy, all that. This is not your field. So I want you to actually think about your vibrational field like the field out front of your house right now, or the field out front of your job right now, right? Think about if there's like a patch of grass or some rocks if you live in the desert, okay? If there's something out there, think about that, like where you would plant your seeds if you were where you are right now. Divine is saying to you, I have plans for you to plant your seed in a different field. Do not plant your seed here. So interesting. First message is you're not done where you are. Second message is do not settle just because it's going to take a little bit longer yet. Don't do that, because it's not going to take long enough for the seed to grow. That's, you guys, this is actually like a timeline a little bit. It's like, it's almost like telling us a season or something, you know, because there's seasons to plant, there's seasons to harvest. So there's something about this that says you're going to be in this for a little bit longer, long enough that you need to kind of prepare for that, but also you should be closing out. You should be preparing to be done. What would that mean to you? What is the situation you're in that is not ideal, especially since November, that has just been really, really awful? What is it that you could be dealing with, and what would mean it was over? Like, define it. If you're in a bad relationship, does that mean we won't be together anymore? If you are in a messed up job, does that mean I'll be starting a new job at some point? You know, what does it mean? And then think about this. It isn't long enough for you to plant seeds and grow the harvest. So divine is saying, focus on the thing that I've told you to go harvest. Stop trying to move into the next thing while you're still in the current thing. Okay. Very interesting. What else? Is it Kathy? So we have Shelly Chappelle. Okay, I think I know who you are, my kangaroo friend. And Tara, hi. Oh my gosh, it's like all my friends. Okay, Yolanda, you know what, Yolanda, you actually have my first stepmom's name and my little sister's name in your name. Isn't that funny? All right, sorry, I'm getting back to the reading. I was just so happy to see Kathy. I've been thinking about you and then you appeared, so that's what makes me giggle. All right. What else is there that we are going to think it must mean this, it must mean that? So keep this in mind. There's something in this message that might make you think, just throw away the whole puzzle. Ooh, that's deep. That is so deep. There's something in this download you're getting that might make you think, just go ahead and plant the seeds. You've been taking too long, and all of a sudden, like where you felt intuitively that you were supposed to do something different, it's like, oh, in a rush or something, trying to make you, step on your own toes. Something in you will make you do something foolish. Nope, no, not time. What else? Because there's insight here. What else is divine saying? You might think it's this. It's got energy like that, but it's not. The moon. Okay, now this is a major illusion. Okay, I think I need to read about this one. Let me find the book. Oh, good, it's right here. I thought it might still be in the box, y'all. Okay. It opened to the halfway point, to the hermit, but let's look at. Oh, I like this deck, or this book, because the card is so big right here. You can actually see it a little bit better. All right, so the moon. Does that help you? There's the moon, yeah? Okay, so the moon. The challenger. So there's a fine line between limiting oneself from the world and withdrawing from it through fear. Wow. So something about this message may make you think that you need to go even deeper into hermit mode. It's not an accident that the hermit showed up in the beginning. How funny, right? I think that this is telling you that there is something about this message that's going to make you think, I really need to protect it, like whatever the download is about, and myself. However, I think there is something false about that, something tricky. Okay. Oh, that's tricky. The first can also merge into the latter. Hold on. Oh, I see. So limiting yourself from the world can actually merge into withdrawing from it through fear rather quickly, which is why it is important to understand how each of these feel when we experience them. So interesting. Divine had me do this reading before I could even tell you what this is. I had to tell you what it's not. And this is saying we need to be able to know the difference between what it is and what it's not when we're getting these divine messages. This is deep. When one is limiting their exposure to their or their interaction with the world because it is healthier or more empowering to do so, one feels strong, in control, and at peace. When one is withdrawing from fear, one feels paranoid, scared, and anxious. Man, this is deep. The moon card is not showing fear, quite the opposite. She seems to be flirting with the fool. Yeah, he blowing kisses in the, okay, that is kind of true. She seems to be flirting with the fool. So listen to that. The moon, illumination, full moon, spotlight, what? Is saying to flirt with the fool, the new beginning. It is this download you're receiving. Oh my gosh. I wonder, did you get the mess? Did you start to get this download in the last full moon? Bruh, this is nuts. Okay, focus, Grace. The moon is shining a light on the future, but it's pointing over there. It's not pointing to right this second. So again, we're still getting a message here that the what would you call that? I guess the full integration of the change is not happening right this second, which I think the real message with that isn't to say prepare for delays. It's to say prepare yourself so that you don't mistake a delay for a no, because that's not what's happening here. There is something major going down. Okay. Flirting with the fool. You're flirting with your new beginning. That's what's happening right now. Oh, that feels so weird to say, and yet it makes sense. You know, you're dipping your toe into the new beginning. You're playing coy with your new beginning. You're making your new beginning chase you, honey. Ooh! I don't even talk like that, but that just came out. Oh my gosh. Okay. She seems to be flirting with the fool. As you move through your day, be mindful of how you are feeling with the moon in your orbit, as this can be an indicator if you are allowing the moon to empower your life or if you have succumbed to the shadows of fear. And honey, I don't think that would be too far off given what you've been having to deal with since November. All right, let's close this. Sheeshel, peeshel, weesh. Please like this video because I feel like, how many people are here? It says that there are 10 people here. And you guys may be the only ones to see it if this video doesn't get out. Oh my gracious. Okay. The last thing that it's not. So far, it's not time to throw the puzzle away. There's still one more piece and you will find it and complete it and have that satisfaction. Oh, so this season that's actually been very tough and challenging will satisfy you in the end. That's another insight. There's also this sense of not planting because while you're still going to be here for a little while, it's not long enough to get your harvest out of it. And Divine's not going to let you waste any more energy. Okay. And Divine is also saying, hey, you're very, very close, but you do not need to pull away. You actually need to start to push yourself out there more. Okay. Because that's, I see. If you pull back in fear, you're shrinking back into the last season. You should be pushing yourself forward while maintaining divine alignment so you're not going too fast. Ooh, okay. And then last thing that it's not. It is not what? Ooh, justice. Now, this is a very important message, okay? This does tell us that there may be things where we think, I will know that Divine is on my side, or I will know that the season has changed, or I will know that things are different, or I will know something when I get mine, when I have justice, when I get to experience something, da, 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 da. But I think that this is actually pointing us to two other energies. I think it's talking about the Six of Pentacles, which is the masculine love energy, as well as the Two of Pentacles, which is the decision energy. And I think this is saying you need to make a very logical decision without receiving the justice first. You have been telling yourself, oh my goodness gracious, there's so many clients that are coming to mind as I'm saying each of these messages. And I don't know why I feel called to do these divine feminine messages on this channel. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself because it's like, they're not going to see it. Oh my gosh. Okay, Grace. You thought that you were not going to be able to move forward, that the way that this season was going to say, hey, it's over and it's done, was going to be at the end you received the justice, that there was a verdict made in your favor. But this says that's not happening yet. It's not time yet for that to occur. So what you need to do is to decide now. You've told yourself you have to wait to make the decision until after the justice, until after the verdict. Divine is saying, stop. That's not true. That's not it. And the download you're receiving right now, if you're taking it as, I think it's about the thing I want it to be about, and not receiving it as, divine, I'm open to what you're offering. I want to hear what you're saying, which I think more of us are more likely to do lately because it's been that bad in 2025. 2025 hasn't even been like the worst year ever. And yet energetically it has. I cannot explain it. And so it's like, okay, there is something that you're going to have to do here. And it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel out of place. It's going to feel, I don't know, like, because you were so certain for so long that things would play out a certain way, and now you're being told that's not true, which if your ego is attached to a specific timeline or outcome, you're going to just completely crash out from hearing that. So just keep that in mind, okay? So divine is letting you know this is not the time to throw in the towel. This is also not the time to settle where you are because you're just so tired and you give up and you're like, fine, I'll just surrender to this place I know I'm not supposed to be. Nope, don't do that. It's only a little while longer and not even a full growing season. You are, can you guys hear the thunder? You are experiencing the early energies. I've always talked about the overlap of energies. Okay, so if this is an energy over here and then this is an energy over here, but it's like, let's say this is December 31st and this is January 1st, that it doesn't really happen like that. It's not like once December 31st is over and that's completely closed and then you're in January. No, really, the energy kind of looks like this, where you're experiencing some of January at the end of the year. That's where we are as a society. We just act a certain way at the end of the year, kind of like, it's over already. We all get senioritis, if you know what that means, at the end of the year, and we're ready for the next year. And then in the beginning of the year, there's this very specific, particular energy. I mean, even if you think about like Chinese New Year, where even culturally speaking, or Jewish New Year, like there's all these different times where for certain cultures, they all come together and they bring in that energy. But I think what we all have to realize is this overlap between the two says you can start some things. So should you wait until January to start your New Year's resolutions? Probably not. That's why they don't really, go anywhere. But if you start in December, by January, when that energy is there to support you, you'll be fully rooted in those resolutions. That's the real way you should do them if you understand energy. So there are things here that divine is trying to reveal to you. And divine is saying you are tippy-toeing, you're very close, and you're actually able to access a lot of the energies that are going to be available to you very soon. But don't get it twisted just because you can kind of sense them that it's time to throw the whole puzzle away, okay? And finally, it's time to make a very important decision. Let me pull from Justice really quick here. Justice. It opened to the Sun, but here's Justice. It is easy to think that It is easy to think that it is only you that will benefit from an end result. When we go toe-to-toe with an adversary, we often forget that there could be a middle ground or a solution that could benefit all involved. Instead, winning at all costs becomes our only objective. Oh my gosh, because you know what? When I just did, where is it? Is it right here? I just did a reading on male masculine energy, and it was talking about these hollow victories where we win, but the cost is really too great, and it's not a good win. It doesn't actually feel like that in the end. And there's something here that says we need to be very, very cautious. Okay, so our masculine energy, we shouldn't call it in and then let it make us illogical and all the lower vibrations or the lower presentation, like the aggression and just kind of force. We need to make it a high vibrational spiritual logic with whatever decision we're going to make. In trying to tip the scales of justice to your favor with this line of thinking will not only bring you the resolution you want. Will not only not bring you the resolution you want, it won't even make the fight seem justified. Instead, It will create a vortex of energy that will require you to keep being a player in a game that will never end, and one which, oh wow, and one which no one walks away truly victorious. Wow. This is a decision to believe that the scales can tip in your favor with the right choice. Okay? You must make a good decision here, and the decision cannot be based on an old line of thinking. It has to be based on your understanding of this divine download. Wow. Because what I'm hearing is there are going to be people who maybe there's a relationship with an employer, a person, a family member. Maybe there's something that has been really, really messed up the last 8 months. And there's a part of you that as this new season is coming through, you've just been so down and so frustrated and in such a survival mode that your instinct is to throw it all away, to just be done with it, or to just give in, to just settle, to stop fighting, to stop trying to do the right thing. And it's like, don't do either one of those things, okay? Because there's actually something that you can do in making the decision to move forward and to go with divine that is going to change the entire situation in a way you had never considered. All right, so now you know what it's not. What is it? What do we need to know about this new energy that, honestly, I think that there are going to be a lot of you who, yeah, we're talking about right now. We're talking about downloads from this moment. We're talking about how things have been since November up until June. You know, I can see that. But some of you, like me, have been asking divine for a new beginning for freaking 7 years. Like, what are you talking about? So it's like very, very easy, I think, to just go into this. And this may be the old way of doing things. How every time we felt or hoped or tried to manifest or create a new beginning, it didn't work out. And then we ended up doing the wrong things. This is different. And divine is trying to make sure we know that. And our brains have been trying to solve this problem. The problem for us right now is that we feel the anticipation and then nothing happens and we get disappointed. So you know what our brain says? I'm not going to feel the anticipation and I'm not going to get excited, and we're going to just assume we're going to smarten up, brain. That's how our brains work, right? It wants to help us. We're going to smarten up. Obviously, there's no such thing as a new beginning if a new beginning hasn't happened. Beep, boop, beep, boop. And then you don't even know it, but your brain is now telling every other part of your brain, all your beliefs, all your instincts. This is how we move now to protect ourselves. We need to survive. Divine is coming to you and saying, I understand. I get what's happening to you, and I wanted to make it very clear for you. Here, now we're pulling from the same deck. Here is what it is about. Here is what you do need to know. Here is what you can put your energy into and start to look to divine and hope for, okay? Get the out of here, guys. Oh, man. So remember when I opened for the moon, it opened straight to the hermit, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Whoa, and the ring flew off. Whoa, and the star was in that. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. It's the hermit. It's half of the moon. Ha ha ha. So now it's telling you it's this. But here's the thing. I have talked about this hermit card before, and what I have explained is that it is a person who has followed someone into their dark night in the hopes of bringing them out, because they had not yet gained the wisdom that no one can be brought out of the dark night except for by divine or by their own divine will, not by the hand of another. But this person didn't know that yet. So that's an interesting first start, okay? I don't want to read the book yet because I feel like there's something that's supposed to come through. It's also making me think about how I saw the moon and how it was shining a spotlight on the future. And then she's got this in her hand, this light. And it's almost kind of like, if you blur your eyes, it looks like the moon in the distance. You know, like the moon in the background on the ocean or something. Man, and it's thundering outside and raining now. It was just sunny a few minutes ago. I mean, that's Florida, but still, like, it's so weird. Okay. I really feel like, you guys, that with the shepherd's crook in her hand and her heart, you know, guiding the way, I don't know, this really does feel like some major shift that's about to happen. And it seems like it's about us guiding us leading, us opening up a path, a transformation opportunity. It's about us edifying, educating. It's about us stepping into a new role that, frankly, we've always wanted to experience, but we kind of feel like divine has told us no, which hurts us deeply because it's like, why does it feel like it's the one thing I'm supposed to do, but it also seems like you don't want me to? And I feel like divine is here to say to you, you have been putting the puzzle pieces together. You have been learning how to harvest. You have been learning how to look for the light. You have been learning how to make good decisions and the consequences of not doing that. You have been in school. And now you will be the teacher. Oh my gosh. Oh man. I don't know why that just hit really hard. Woo! Okay. Shake that off. All right. So let's read the book. Okay. So sorry. Because one of the main things that everybody that I've talked to that has talked about, like, ever since November or like late last year, every single one of them have said they feel more alone than they ever have. And the crazy part is, just like those of us who've been waiting for the new beginning and trying to manifest it, trying to like push, even trying to like figure out, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? Those of us who've been feeling that way and feeling almost like divine just doesn't want us to be happy or move forward are also feeling that loneliness. And just like we thought we couldn't get any more lonely, just like we thought we couldn't get any more disappointed about no new beginnings happening, turns out we can, you know? And it was like, oh my gosh. And so this is crazy. The first thing this says, it says, alone time is not everyone's favorite time. It may even be an anxious time, especially if you feel disconnected and lost. However, this is the time you need, even if it is not something you truly appreciate right now. You may not understand it yet, but the light you do have is the only light you need. It is going to take great discipline to allow it to let me read this slow. You may not understand it yet. Now remember, the whole reading is about what it's not, and this is what it is. What's it? It is the download you're receiving. I believe it's this heart. I believe the download is this heart, you guys. God is giving us something. Divine is giving us something. You may not understand it yet, but the light you do have is the only light you need. It is going to take great discipline to allow it. To allow what? To allow the light you already have to show you the way. But once you can overcome your resistance to the moment, you may begin to enjoy your peace and quiet in the dark. Wow. You are resisting what divine has brought you to. And divine is bringing it out to a close, but as a part of this experience all playing out, there are all the things you're supposed to gather so that you'll have what you need. You are even now resisting the shift into the new beginning because you've started to disbelieve that it's even possible, because you've been hearing new beginning so long that you're going along with your brain like, yeah, why would I believe that? But you can enjoy this last few days, weeks, or months right now before the new beginning even starts. Hold on, let me close the door. Mr. LightWork just walked in. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys. Okay. What's the positive here? How blessed are you to have light in the dark? It may not illuminate everything you need to see, but it gives you enough light to be able to see where you are and where your next steps need to be. Wow. All the hermit is ever concerned with is your next step. Wow. Divine is being so direct right now. This is unreal. This is crazy. We're sitting here asking these questions about what this download we're getting, this intuition that we're feeling and sensing. What does this mean for what comes next? We're being told it's the new beginning. We're being told it's not these things, but it is this. The next step. That's it. Divine is trying to tell you the next step, and the next step comes after you make a decision. Because you believe the new beginning is possible, you are willing to hold out a little while longer before you really set your roots down, and you're not afraid to go look for what's missing, even though you've been discouraged about finding it. Your next step is all of these things combined, where you could be easily distracted. Darkness does not want you to know the truth, so that you can do the next thing. There is a stillness and grace in trusting the light and going only where the light shines. Just like our performer on stage, who can only float in the direction the current takes her, she trusts that what she can see is all the information she needs. It is like driving cross country down the highway, and all you have at night is a couple 100 feet of illumination of your headlights, and yet you can make it because that's all you need. You just need to know that what's right in front of you is illuminated enough to know you can keep going. That is what this is right now. Divine is shining a light. I believe, it's going to sound wild, but some of you are going to feel this. I believe the light is actually at the end of a tunnel, and the tunnel is the portal, and the place that the light is shining from on the other side is the future. So imagine that. Right now, you're hearing a whisper, you're seeing a light, you're feeling an energy, and it tells you, keep going the way you've been going. Now, you feel, because things have been so bad, that the way you've been going must be wrong. But at the same time, you don't know what else to do, because you just kind of you just keep going this way. There's something about you that also knows you just have to keep doing it. And so you're torn. And Divine comes in and says, I have you in my flow. And this is where I've been bringing you. But back there, where this flow started, where this river began. Ooh, and I just heard you made this river. Ooh, I just heard this river came out of your gut. This river came out of your belly. Oh my gosh. All the way back there, you couldn't see the light at all. Okay, so think about that. Think about driving to Epcot, Disney, driving to the Eiffel Tower, driving to some high place, and how even though that thing is really big, right? Like if you get to Disney World, you can kind of start to see some of the rides. You can see the big dome or whatever, Epcot. There's all these different things that when you're going somewhere, you can see these landmarks, but not right away. That's how a parent can trick a child and be driving to Disney. Let's say they're going from Wisconsin all the way down to Orlando, Florida. That child don't know where they're going. But the whole time they've been going to Disney, but the child couldn't see that. Think about going down a river. The river turns and but it's all flowing in one direction. And so no, you're not going to be able to see 10 miles back what's 10 miles ahead. Divine is saying to you, you have been on the right path the entire time. You have been in my flow the entire time. Every time there was a twist and a turn, the doubt you had was only in yourself. The doubt you felt was because of fear that you needed to deal with. And this is the point and the purpose of this journey. And as you get closer and closer and closer to the end, and you're going to think, oh man, they finally turned a light on. It's like the light has been on the whole time. This is what you've been going towards the whole time. Your light and the light from that future portal is like a magnet. You are meant to be attracted to your future self and your future path. There is comfort in the dark and safety in the light, especially when one goes through a dark moment or a moment of solace and solitude. Remember, you have all the light you need to get through your next steps. The next few steps are going to feel very dark. Now, okay, have you ever been in a bright room and then you turn the light off and you were in darkness, and it was very, very dark? But then what happens? Your eyes adjust. Yeah? Something about this feels like your eyes are going to begin to adjust. Now, what are your eyes adjusting to? Your eyes are adjusting to the dim light that is there. Maybe it's shining in from the window or from the hallway or whatever. But whatever it is, eventually your eyes, which could not see any light at all when the light first turned out, started to be able to see even the smallest little bit of light. That's how powerful light is, right? In the pitch blackness. And you know which way to go. Divine is letting you know in no uncertain terms, in every possible way, that you are on the right track, you are on the right path, and you are doing amazing things, and you've been doing it. And that this is not you finally stepping into the light and doing some new thing and da 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 da. This is always where you were going. This was always a part of the plan. And when you get there, you are going to have everything you've ever needed because you already do. Okay? What's the message for you? What do you need to understand about what it is that divine is doing in your life? Whoa. This is a polar bear, but it's almost like he's a king. And it's funny that because that looks like the moon in the background. It's almost like he's a king because it looks like he's kind of wearing some sort of raiment. It looks like he's wearing some sort of, what is that called? Like a mantle or something. Because if not, whose hand is that? You know what I'm saying? If not, whose hand is that? If that's not the bear's paw, then whose hand is this? And what is this on top of this bear? But okay, let's read what this says. Here, let me show you a second. Power, wisdom, and peace. I think this says if you plant your seed right now, you will initiate another 7-year cycle. Yep. If you plant your seed right now, you're not going to want to leave where you are. Do not do this to yourself. Okay. All right. Let's see. Power, wisdom, peace. The Inuit peoples considered the polar bear, which they called Nanook, to be powerful and wise. The legend of Quapkujiak describes a 10-legged polar bear living on the Arctic ice pack who renounced the violence of his 4-legged relatives and attempted to create needs to be edited. Okay. And attempted to create a community based on peace and love. Wow. Feels like me. I feel like some of y'all be like, yeah, I feel like me too. I renounce all these things that I don't, just because that's what you say I have to do. That's not true. I don't believe you and I renounce that. Okay. In the painting called Playing with the North Wind, the bear dances and cavorts with the wind. Oh, the hands belongs to the wind. I'm going to cry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys, the wind is the messenger. Oh, cavorting with the messenger. That's what's happening right now. Okay, sorry. The bear dances and cavorts with the wind, a symbol of spiritual energy. Boulez, who identified with the bear totem, completed this painting in 1996, shortly before her death in 1997. The raised forepaw of the bear appears to be waving goodbye. I think this is letting you know, and I don't think that these two images of darkness and kind of going in the same direction, even the hand being held up, I mentioned this looks like the moon and then there's the moon. I don't think that's a coincidence, friends. I think that this is letting us know it is time to say goodbye to the old life. You will literally have things. Now here's the thing. I warned y'all about this back in 2024. Well, not on this channel, but if you've been following my ministry otherwise, you know that in 2024, there were 3 timeline caps that closed off the past. And there are things from back then that you will never see again. And you've already noticed. And at the beginning of 2024, you were not thinking those things were going to be gone. They were such a major normal part of your life, but by the end they were gone. And I warned people, and I even warned myself, and still missed it. And boy, was I right. Oh my gosh. But here's the thing. That was what happened in November and December. That's why it's been so bad, you guys, because we are mourning. We are grieving. There are things we don't even understand that are happening inside of us. And that was that last timeline cap. And it closed off us from our old self, but we had not yet entered the new cycle, the new self, because divine wasn't going to just let us walk from one door into another room. We got to leave that house and travel a ways so we can shake off the energy of the old. I can't remember who it was, but there was a spiritual teacher I listened to who talked about how he realized that energy sits in rooms. He said that there was a room in his house that he didn't enter very often, kind of a room they ended up maybe mostly just using for storage, and that he was on a phone call and he was pacing around his house and he walked into that room. Oh, what was that guy's name? He walked into that room while he was on the phone, and he said in that room he kind of got like to the peak of the argument, and then he ended the call, he closed the door, walked out, walked out, whatever. And then he said that he didn't think about that fight or that call for a while, like it just nothing, and he didn't go into that room for a while. And he said the very next time he walked into that room, he was in the face by that exact energy, and he was right back on that call, and it was like crazy. And I'll tell you, that is also something that is a really good way to describe PTSD, of how the brain can actually take you back to the traumatic event. A lot of people don't realize your body remembers. That's what that means. Your body will go back and go into fight or flight like it was when that event happened. In that moment, his body instantly responded to the energy in the room, and he was immediately dysregulated within himself. And this is a spiritual guide, a spiritual guru who's aware of these kind of things enough to pick up on it and share the message, but also still in a low enough space is in self to experience that kind of thing. And so what I want you to think about is that the energy of the season you've been in is icky. And divine is not going to let you carry that on like a aura or like a smell. When if you've ever worked in food service and then you go home and you smell like every single thing that was cooked in that restaurant that day. Oh my gosh. And it's like there's a very specific smell to people who work in restaurants. If you get it, you get it, right? So it's like in that way, divine is going to make sure that you have the opportunity to fully cleanse yourself inside and out through this period of transition that I think is happening right now. I think that is what divine is trying to direct us through. He's directing our steps into the new season, but it is a treacherous few steps. It's making me think, one time I went into, if you've ever been swimming in springs before, or just like paddle boarded in springs and actually tried to get out. Well, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but in Florida, I don't know, how can I show it to you? Because it's actually kind of hard to explain. Slippery, how do I say this? Slippery, mossy rocks in springs. Does that make any sense? Okay. Yes. Slippery, mossy rocks and springs are caused by a combination of factors, primarily the growth of algae and other organisms on the rock surface, which creates a slick layer that reduces friction. Okay, so I want to show you an image of this. Oh, do they have it? Okay, I mean, this isn't really good, but so I went swimming in a spring once, and I did not realize that the ground was not flat. And they told me be careful. I even had like rubberized shoes, but it did not matter. The rubberized shoes that normally I could wear anywhere else, and like even the pool, stuff like that, the moss that was, can I find one that's actually like of the bottom of it? I guess I can't explain it. Not only is it like, okay, I can explain it like this. Imagine this. So you see that these rocks have moss on them, but this is not a flat surface. It's just a bunch of rocks all together. Well, imagine that these are super slippery, but they're underwater and you're trying to walk on them. So not only can you not walk on a flat surface, but everywhere your foot touches immediately slips. So I need you to understand, divine is directing you through the getting out of the river that you've been on into the portal, or through the doorway into the light. I want you to think back. What did you leave behind many, many years ago? Or even it could even just been the last couple years. What did you leave behind? Because whatever it is, my friend, that is what divine has been using this flow of time and energy to cleanse off of you, to blow off of you, so that you could really say goodbye. And you felt the final closure of that back in November, December, January, and going into 2025. And now you're starting to kind of feel almost like a numbness or an emptiness to it all. And it's all very confusing, because it's like, what the heck is going on here? Not knowing that there is something new. I want to ask, what is the final challenge that we are going to have to face as we step on these mossy rocks and get onto the shore of the new land, of the new space, of the new energy, so where we can finally plant our seeds and get our justice and all these different things. Interesting, because it tells us justice is not in this realm. Your justice is in another realm and you have to get there. What is the challenge? Whoa. Y'all get the up out of here. Oh my gosh. Y'all. 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 Oh, I'm about to. Okay. Okay, Grace, you gotta do something. This is what I be trying to tell y'all. This is what I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't understand. Oh, it makes me so upset sometimes because it's like, I know someone's probably like, what is wrong with this girl? Y'all have no idea. We're using different decks. We're talking about random things that this is making me think about. Tell me that that's not the portal opening I just described. Tell me those aren't the slippery rocks that I just told y'all about. Tell me that this is not the edge of the river that I've been describing to you. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not. Tell me how much of a skeptic you are. Get out of town. Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. Ooh, wee! This is gonna make me go crazy. This is gonna make my head spin, y'all. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. This is what divine is trying to get you to understand, friends. This is what divine is trying to get you to understand. You've been on this journey. So remember, we talked about the highway, right? You've been on the highway journey. Okay, no. How about you've been on a river? Think about that. Oh man, this is getting crazy. Can I tell y'all like a secret? I don't even really like believe in spirit guides the way most people do. Like, I respect your spirit guides. If you say that's your guide or that's your past life or whatever. But I just don't really resonate with that, so it's not really like my thing, bruh. You know what I got told the other day? I have a spirit guide, but more like it's not a spirit guide. I can't explain it, and it's not a past life either. I cannot explain the message I got. This is where I still don't get it. You know who it was? Y'all gonna be like, Grace, just say it, and then you're like, really? Harriet Tubman. And this did not come up because of Juneteenth. Okay, no, this came up like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, what? And now I'm looking at this and I'm about to describe to you the vision I saw. Y'all, imagine you are going from, we'll call it the South, yeah, to the North where you're free. But you can't walk on the roads because people who look like you, people who have the light like you, are not allowed on the roads. So you've got to trudge through states, thousands of miles in a river, no boat, with one person who might have some light, but you might not even have light. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a swamp before, but there's something called an alligator. If you live in Florida and there's water out there and that water is wet, there's probably a gator in it. So you want to talk about the deep South? Having to go through a river? You want to talk about the light at the end of the tunnel and it feeling like it's never ending? There's a reason why every person that Harriet came to save didn't actually get saved. Because they knew. She told them straight up, if you gonna come this way, you gonna have to come all the way. You're not gonna get us caught. You're not gonna go around, and you ain't going back. Because you're not going to tell them the railroad tracks. Imagine that has been you. You were a slave to your old nature, a slave to your old life, a slave to the people who chose to use and abuse you for years. And now, as you've been trying to traverse away from all that, you've been in this darkness, trudging. And guess what? The slippery rocks are not just at the end. The whole thing's slippery. This has been the most difficult path, but divine promised you one thing when you started it. The path to freedom was never going to be easy. But after being on the path for so long, when you first did it, it first started, you was like, hell yeah, let's go. being on the path for so long now, you're like, bruh, I don't have it in me. I'm kind of tired. And that always happens right before the end. Divine is giving you this energy, this download, this message to tell you that you are seen, that you are worthy of this path, and that you were designed to be capable to complete it, and that eventually you're going to do the same thing for other people in your way. You're going to help people go from utter darkness where even the moon is small and the only friend is the wind to where they can go in and the wind greets them with glory. I'm about to freak out. Like, it's just so crazy. It's just really frustrating because it's like every time I have a message that's really important, nobody ever sees it. And it makes me feel so sad because it's like, is it me? Am I doing the wrong thing? Like, am I putting it in the wrong place? Like, I know that not everybody has dealt with loss before. And I know that not everybody has dealt with like a loss like in a professional space, right? Like unless you're like a doctor or a nurse or something. And even then it's not the same because the person comes to you and you know that they're like sick or whatever. So it's kind of like a 50-50 off the bat that they might not survive, you know? But like I feel like spiritual people, like I feel like the spiritual space can be so damning sometimes, and it can be so confusing, and people who are seeking light can be drawn into even darker darkness, like the depths of darkness, and be pulled off their path. And I feel like darkness does such a good job hiding this stuff. I feel like the people who are meant to do the brightest things have the darkest lives. I feel like the people who have the biggest purposes have the biggest attacks. And so many of them don't know that. So many of them don't know that, guys. I've barely made it through, but I know I'm under attack. So I can't imagine what people who have no idea what's happening to them are feeling right now. I don't know why I can't stop crying. I don't want to lose people on this journey, and I don't want anyone to lose themselves on this journey, and I don't want anyone to be lost just moments before salvation came. Like, I don't want that. Oh, crap. Woo! I love you too, Shelly. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay. Let's just move on. Your final challenge is to follow that little pinprick of light. Okay? Oh, I hear you, God. I don't know if you can hear the thunder, guys. But you have to follow it even when the storms come. You can't give up. You cannot give up. And it's not just about you not giving up. It's not just because I care about you and I love you and I want to see you do well. Like, that's all well and good, but that is not. It's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than that. There was a time in my life where I did not do my job. I did not live in my purpose. And the number of people that I have met over the last 7 years who say to me, like, you were what I needed, you were what I was missing, made me realize, like, that all of us have that. All of us have people that we're here to serve. And this feels like we are getting there, and we're finally going to be able to do all the things. Like, come on, guys. Like, she got on a whole cloak and a whole thing. Look at this person, look like they have their hood pulled down. Like, this looks like it's the same person, and like this is their spiritual self. Like, even the hand is raised. Like, come on, this is so weird. You can't ignore it. You have to go. You have to. Final card. Oh my gosh, man. This is crazy. I have a pretty bad headache right now. I'm going to have a horrible headache. I was freaking crying. Ooh, let's breathe. What do you have to remember? especially as you come in to make this decision. And it says balance right here to bring balance to your life before you feel that justice will be granted. You have to trust that your relationship is built on trust, harmony, and divine love. And I think that what this says is that most of you probably have a longing in you related to love. That most of you probably have a deep desire to be loved properly. And what I can tell you is that there is no proper love in the darkness. There is only the love that can squeeze itself through all the cracks. But in the light, there is real love, real proper love. And you have to trust that when you get there, you will feel it. Because I think that's the only reason why any of us would go this far for this long and just feel like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to settle. Or screw it, I give up, I'm done. I'm just going to walk away after all the effort I just made, right? Like there's always so many reasons. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. 9 + 5 is 14. This balance thing is really important. What does this say? Love thrives on balance. This number encourages equal give and take. True love is built on trust, mutual support, and divine alignment. Let go of control and allow love to unfold naturally. Love flows in perfect harmony. My relationship is balanced, fulfilling, and divinely supported. We have to start to make sure that all of our relationships in our life are there so that the one we want to be there can also flow in that direction. If your relationships in life, so let's say this is about love, right? Like a partner. If your relationship with your family, your friends, yourself, your employer, everybody around you, your community is trash, guess what? That is what's going to be reflected in the relationship with that person. And I think that this says one of the first decisions you can make right now is to honor yourself, not just self-love. Don't go just take a bubble bath and be like, oh, I loved myself. Honor yourself. Respect yourself. Ask yourself truly what you desire, not what you think you deserve, not what you think is possible after all this time that everything took too long. Ask yourself, what do you really want? Because once you can get clear about that and then honor that desire, I believe that it will give you the last little bit of energy you need to reach up and grab Divine's hand so Divine can help you out of the river. Oh, this is so crazy. Like, even every time I think about this flow of cards, like, I just get completely overwhelmed. Like, I have to turn them over. Oh my gosh. I don't know why, just imagining like reaching that last point and seeing the light like so bright and grabbing Divine's hand and like stepping up and seeing what the new world is gonna hold. It's such a stupid thing to cry about, you know, but it's like, it's not. It's not. Friends, I want the best for you. But more than that, I want you to want the best for you. And I don't mean like, I want the best cars and clothes and I want the best, and I want to be a billionaire. And I don't know. I want you to want what your soul's desire is. I want you to be so aligned with Divine and your divine self and everything in your life that you don't worry about anything. Like, I really do want that for you because I want it for me, and I treat people how I want to be treated. I want you to not have to cry tears of sadness anymore. I don't want you to be alone anymore. I don't want you to feel scared. I want you to feel certain. I think this is a call back to your spiritual center. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm always going to go back to God. I don't know what you are. You better figure it out if you don't know. And if you grew up Christian and you went into the spiritual space and you've been avoiding it, like, but nothing else makes you feel centered, I'm sorry, but maybe you need to deal with your issues with people because it's probably not an issue with God. If you're even an atheist, like, what did you do when you were growing up that centered yourself? You know, like, I know there are some people who grew up in a household where there was no religion, but there was something that kept them grounded and they've gotten so far away from it. Like, this is your call. You need to find your center because your center is going to be the place that helps you make these decisions, helps you find your balance, helps you keep moving forward. Your center is where it all is. Your center is where the river flows from. Oh, wow. It's making me think about the rocks that didn't have water on them yet, and the fact that you made this river, which is making me think about the star cards. And I think this is saying the river is flowing out of your belly. You are creating your own path forward. Every time you allow it to dry up, meaning you allow your wisdom, knowledge, understanding to stop flowing between you and divine and have that vessel open from the other realm, then you end up, oh my gosh, Grace, slow down. Then you end up stalling out, and because there's no river to flow on and you can't walk on the rocks, you can really only swim if anything. And so then I just heard also the reason why you're going to be able to guide other people is because you know your river. This is your river. You made it. You know the origin point of it, and you know the end point. I'm not going to look at it. You know the end point, okay? And so that means that you will now be able to help people go back and forth along that river. And maybe once you teach a couple other people to do it, then they can go back and you won't have to go back on that river. Because I know there's some of you are going to go, I'm not going back on that river. And it's like, what if there's a part of you that once you get to the light has such a deep desire to bring others with you that you're actually willing to go back, especially now that you know that the river is in full flow. You just have a few more steps. Let the river finish. Let it complete, okay? Because it's guiding you forward. And I know it can be really stressful to essentially be having to build your highway as you go. It's like having to build a bridge over water as you walk it. Like, that's crazy. Like, I would never feel comfortable doing that. That seems really scary and dangerous. And yet, if it's the only way forward and divine has given us a way, then we must go forward with it. We cannot deny ourselves this anymore. Final messages for you. The Fool. You can't make this up. What about the Fool? The Fool and the Magician. Your code is being rewritten, friends. It's all changing. Everything's different. And then what? What is this? Oh, it's the totem. It's all the animal spirits all in one. And then wait a minute, that's a bird, but this says birds back here. Whoa, whoa. The birds and the totem. Bird says soul, divinity, liberation, creativity, and rebirth. The Egyptian gods originated as birds, retaining part of their original anatomy as they evolved into humans. The Egyptian soul is represented as a bird with a human head. In Hindu cosmology, birds represent higher levels of being. What I've been hearing, friends, is that we are going to be reaching a third plateau. And I'm going to tell you, it's really interesting where I've been following these prophets for like the last, oh my gosh, what would that be? 10 years? 10? I guess about 15 years I've been following these prophets, and they're always on time. They're always right. It's never wrong. They warn me ahead of time when energies are coming, and I'll be like, oh, maybe that's not for me. And then something will happen and I'll go back and be like, oh my gosh. There are days where I will wake up for like weeks straight, and every single day they'll know exactly it is the most amazing thing in the world. And to hear prophets who have no connection to twin flames, no connection to spirituality, no connection to new age, no connection to anything that I dabble in, say there's a new era coming, to say that we are reaching another plateau. And specifically, they say we are reaching a third plateau. All right. I believe them. Okay. I believe them. I believe that all the spiritual divine beings that are ascended around the world can sense, whether they're coming from the space of being Christian, Hindu, whatever it is, they know it's happening. It's on. What else? What else? Final messages. Oh my gosh. 10 of Cups. And this is a very dark deck, y'all. I'm just going to tell you straight up. This was the 5 of Cups. This is the 10 of Cups. And it's a totem. It's a totem. And look at all these tall places. Look at this. Look at, he's on top of a top hat. He's on top of a mountain, or I don't even know what you would, that's crazy looking. What about the 10 of Cups? What about this joy, this foundation of joy? What do we need to know? 5 of Pentacles. Yes, 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 and yes. If you want to build the 10 of Pentacles off on top of this 10 of, wow, the third plateau. And there's the, wow. Oh my gosh, this is insane, actually. This is insane, actually. This is crazy. Where'd she go? Where's my hermit? Like, this is, it's raining. There's rain. There. Anyway, sorry. If you want to build the 10 of Cups, you need to help guide people out. Okay. You see, there's somebody with a walking stick, but there's somebody with them, and they're stealing them away in the dark of night. Okay. You need to be willing to help other people get out of your situation. My question to you is, if you could think back to the last 7 years, I know straight up my problem was spiritual bypassing and avoidance. I need to help other people with that. I will feel fulfilled. I will change their lives. They in turn will change others' lives. And it's not because I'm better or they're worse or anyone's this or that. It's just a part of the flow of who we all are together. We are a divine collective. We are a tribe. We are a family, a spiritual family. And you will change the lives of others. And in this, you're coming out of the darkness and you've got that dark on you, okay? But here you're going into darkness and you are the light, the glow, the heart of it all. And final message, because I need to go. I need to go take like an ibuprofen or something. Oh my gosh. Final message for you. 15:15. I release the old and welcome fresh. Fresh love, fresh hope, fresh trust, fresh anointing. I release the old and I welcome fresh. Oh my gosh, y'all. What are we missing? Divine guidance. Divine, lead me on the path of truth and love. In moments of doubt, surround me with your wisdom and clarity. Let my heart be open to the whispers. Y'all, you can't make this up. I told you the wind is the whisper. Let my heart be open to the whispers of the universe, guiding me toward my highest purpose. Y'all, you cannot make this up. This whole reading has been insane. I cannot believe there's like 10 people watching it. This is crazy. I really hope that one of you is the one who was supposed to see this. Because, okay, may I trust the signs, the synchronicities, and the unseen hands that shape my journey. Get out. The wind and the hands in one card, the whisper, you get it. Grant me the strength to follow the path meant for me, even when it is unknown. Y'all, read this. It's crazy. Fill my soul with faith, knowing that I am always supported and protected. I surrender to your wisdom, allowing divine light to light my way. With every step, I walk in harmony with my destiny. Okay, I cannot believe that yet again we have another card. No, are y'all noticing this? Look at how many. All the cards on the table right now have someone atop this is the real victory, not the hollow victories of trying to win a game or the game of life and all this stuff. This is the divine victory of following the divine, the obedience, hearing the call upon our soul, seeking the balance, leaving ego behind, being willing to transform, being willing to lose it all to gain our soul. Like, this is everything. Let's read it one more time and then I'm gonna be out, okay? Whew. Okay. If you're alone or if you want to repeat this in your head, I'm gonna try to read it without freaking out, okay? So repeat after me. Divine light, lead me on the path of truth and love. In moments of doubt, surround me with your wisdom and clarity. Let my heart be open to the whispers of the universe, guiding me toward my highest purpose. May I trust the signs, the synchronicities, and the unseen hands that shape my journey. Grant me the strength to follow the path meant for me, even when it is unknown. Fill my soul with faith, knowing I am always supported and protected. I surrender to your wisdom, allowing divine love to light my way. With every step, I walk in harmony with my destiny. I'm gonna be quiet because I can't. If you're interested in working with me, I'm Fiery Grace. I am a gifted prophet. I have chosen to enter into the new age sacred space to call back the souls that belong to my fold, as well as to educate and enlighten those who are seeking sacred divine wisdom. And I'm damn good at my job. If you need me, let me know. If you are interested in anything that I offer, but you have any confusion, you can also shoot me an email, or you can visit my website and click contact us, and it will provide me with your information so that I can then help you with whatever you're looking for. Well, friends, it's been a day, and it is only, I can't believe it's almost 4:00 already. If you already know what happened in the reading I did before this, you'll know like why I'm like, whoa, because I started that reading at 12:00 and it's now almost 4:00, which means I have been channeling for 4 hours. Probably, maybe that's why I'm so overwhelmed. All right, that makes actually a lot more sense. Well, friends, I'm out of here. Oh my gosh, it's 4:00 on Shabbat, Grace. Oh my gosh, I just had a moment. Oh, if you made, I want to pull a little card for you. If you made it all the way to the end, please leave something tall, something really tall. So look at your emojis. What's like the tallest thing in real life? Obviously, you know, is there like, is it mountain? Is there towers? I don't know. All right, let's get a card really quick. Final message for you. Whoa, that's 2. Here we go. Amazonite. Life purpose. Look at the color. Look at the color. I am fully aligned to and living my life purpose. Y'all, this is so crazy. I feel like sometimes Divine tries to make me laugh when I be crying, because it's like, okay, all right, let's bring you back. Okay, I'm out of here. Oh my gosh. By the way, before we get started, I have an important question for you. Why do all twin flame readings and teachings focus on the divine feminine? I mean, at first, I thought it was just the way of the journey, but years of research and fact-checking has revealed there's a lot of nonsense going around as a global fix to our collective light work. I'm telling you, there's a spurious correlation being made, friends. The truth is, divine feminines are not the only ones on the journey, nor are they always the first ones to awaken. That's who we should be talking to when we help twin flames ascend. The first awakened. The truth is, if you are a first awakened twin flame and you happen to be a divine feminine counterpart, that your connection to the intuitive and your feminine leanings would only naturally bring you to intuitive practices like tarot and astrology. Divine masculines are actually the more physically grounded or 3D focused counterpart. So when they awaken first, it's in their own way rather than the exact way a first awakened divine feminine would do things. Okay, I know that's not why you're here. So let's examine the ascension pathway that every first awakened counterpart will travel on their way to reunion. First, we have the early separation energies. There's a real reason why twin flames separate, and separation is not a punishment, it's a portal. But for many twin flames, this portal becomes a painful cycle of chasing, withdrawal, confusion, and emotional relapse. It's the shock of awakening. Like, hey, welcome. If you found yourself on this path, overwhelmed by the pain of separation and unsure whether this is a miracle or a curse, you're not broken, you're awakening. The early stages of the twin flame journey are some of the most misunderstood and emotionally intense. For many divine feminines, this phase is full of obsession, anxiety, spiritual overwhelm, and desperation for answers. It's also the stage most easily hijacked by misinformation, false gurus, and spiritual bypassing. What's really happening? This is not romantic confusion. It's a soul crack, exposing you to the divine blueprint you've forgotten but never lost. You're not crazy. You're being initiated. Let's talk about the normalization of pain when toxic dynamics masquerade as devotion. The phases of separation we experience are not exclusive to the twin flame path. They echo through countless human relationships across all walks of life. But what makes them particularly tricky within the spiritual context is the mythic narrative wrapped around them. We need to remember, just because a dynamic is a part of a spiritual journey does not mean it should be accepted unconditionally. True twin flame love is not about tolerating dysfunction. It's it's about alchemizing it. In the early years of my divine mission with twin flames, I saw the need for connection, for collective understanding, for deep reality checks, not to burst bubbles, but to fan the flame of the refining fire and a functional divine path out of the dark night. I knew when I started my journey, when I started my ministry, and when I started my own path of ascension alongside my partner, that the energy signature of early separation could not be cleared or transmuted without the proper tools to help the first awakened twin answer the questions of where is my person and what is this journey? Friend, you are not wrong for wanting them, but your soul also wants you. And the path to reunion, if it is to be sacred, must begin there. This phase is not about forgetting them, it's about remembering yourself. That's the version of you this journey came to activate. That's the version your union requires. Okay, so what about those late separation and pseudo-union energies? Well, those are all a part of energy signature 2. And it's at this point on the journey where you have to decide between your soul mission and the obsession trap. What if the person you're chasing was never the destination, but the awakener of your divine path? In the mid-stage of the journey, many divine feminines get stuck in what we call the obsession trap, a pattern of spiritual codependency disguised as romantic devotion. Our teaching on energy signature 2 reveals how to shift from looping thoughts about union to aligned actions towards your soul mission. We examine the difference between emotional fixation and energetic focus, and you'll learn how your longing is actually a spiritual compass pointing you toward purpose, not pain. We talk about things that other people don't want to talk about, like how spiritual obsession blocks your gifts, how to reclaim your energy from false twins and false paths, discovering your true spiritual archetype, because, by the way, there's 4 types of twin flames. We also talk about the difference between surrender and bypassing, and aligning devotion with discernment. The painful reality of this phase is that for many twin flames, this is where the journey gets really heavy, not because of fresh heartbreak, but because of spiritual fatigue. You've already done the meditations, you've tried the surrender, you've released and returned, chased and retreated. Still, union feels out of reach, and the deeper purpose of it all remains a mystery. This is often where people fall out of alignment, not because they failed, but because they've outgrown the version of the journey they were sold. You'll really know you're in the thick of energy signature 2 when you start feeling emotionally disconnected from the journey itself, from the connection itself, when you start to become even more suspicious of online gurus and all the algorithms that keep you looping. You'll feel confused about your next steps, even as you spiritually awaken. You might even be discouraged or ashamed over how long you've waited and invested. And you start to get a little bit more curious instead of frustrated about divine timing, soul contracts, karmic roles, and false twins. Everybody always wants to know, what is pseudo-union? Pseudo-union is often misunderstood, primarily because it feels so close to the real thing. There may be communication, there may be physical connection, there may even be declarations of love, but underneath it all, the spiritual blueprint of the union has not been fully activated because the soul level integration hasn't occurred. It's not false, it's not without value, but it is incomplete. It's a holding pattern, a divine pause where both counterparts are close enough to taste union, yet far enough from self-recognition to truly embody it. In these phases of separation, the missing link is spiritual integration. And with pseudo-union, the heart may be engaged, but the third eye and crown remain underdeveloped in terms of union consciousness. There may be love, but without the deep remembrance of divine origin and shared mission. As my ministry expanded globally, I noticed the collective expansion within my own tribe. The questions typically begin to shift as early separation energies were shed, revealing late separation energies and a whole new perspective. We stop thinking small, we start seeing the world for what it really is, and then we look at our counterpart and realize there is so much more to this story. It is at this point that every first awakened partner is ready to answer the questions, why am I here and what am I meant to do? Questions they observed rolling by in their mind for years, but only now have come to understand the truth is there. The answers do exist. First awakened twins in energy signature 2 need the right tools because they're probably experiencing spiritual burnout, identity crisis, doubts about their twin flame's authenticity, emotional detachment from the journey, and a deep desire to stop obsessing and start understanding. The Ascension Pathway tools meet you at that exact crossroads. They don't just give you hope, they give you a framework, a language, and a map. Because let's be honest, You don't need another tarot reading right now. You need a new paradigm. The answers you've been waiting for aren't coming from them. They're coming from within you. And these resources were designed to help you remember what you already know. You are the prophecy. You are the teacher and the student. You are not just someone waiting for love. You are someone love has been waiting on. Start there and watch everything change. But what about reconciliation and reunion energies? Well, that can be found in Energy Signature 3. High-level divine feminines are focused on how to align with union energy, not just wait for it. They're preparing. This final segment of the journey is about realignment, stepping fully into our union frequency, regardless of what our counterpart is doing. We explore the difference between energetic union and physical reunion, and why your soul path must come first. Because this is a stage where you stop asking, when will they come back? And start asking, what am I building for us to come home to? A lot of twin flames ask me, what is reconciliation? Reconciliation occurs when twin flames come back together to repair, explore, or redefine their connection. It's often marked by emotional honesty, vulnerability, and a strong desire to make things right. However, reconciliation is not always built to last because it's not yet rooted in shared mission or divine alignment. It may still carry unhealed emotional wounding, latent attachment patterns, conditional love or expectations, and avoidance of individual work. It can feel blissful, especially after a painful separation, but reconciliation still operates within the dualistic framework of right versus wrong, or mine versus yours, or together versus apart. It is love returning to the table, but not yet ready to be served to the world. But what about union? What is blissful union? Well, reunion is not just the return of love, it's the activation of love's higher function. It's when both counterparts have completed enough inner union to step into shared service, not just shared affection. And this distinction matters. Many divine feminines believe they've reunited when what they've actually entered is reconciliation. And there is hope, there's contact, passion, even cohabitation. But without a shared purpose, the energy will stagnate. And in that stagnation, they may stop growing spiritually, delay their soul mission, or stay stuck in loops of emotional highs and lows. It's here we must realize that reconciliation is the invitation, but reunion is the initiation. By the time I was in my own state of blissful union, I noticed it was not at all what I expected. It was nothing like all the guides and gurus had told me, in good and bad ways. And there was something missing, something no one ever told me I would need. So I created it, and I finally understood the questions my soul had been asking back when I was in Energy Signature 2, but didn't quite believe they could be answered. I had been divinely ordained for such a time as this to bring reunion out of the 5D into the physical world and to show other people the exact blueprint. Watching thousands of clients answer the questions, what are my gifts and how can I be of service to divine, completely altered my spiritual DNA. I thought I knew the path to reunion. I thought I understood what was happening, but it wasn't until I saw the energy unfold the exact same way, time and time again, in all my reconciled clients. It wasn't until the emails and the calls began rolling in that I realized the secret road to the temple of divine. The ascension pathway revealed itself to me, unfurling slowly until I could see it for what it truly was. And the weirdest part of it all, the puzzle pieces were there all along, in the root of divine guidance I'd been channeling to save lives around the world. Reunion was never meant to be the final step, and someone out there wanted us to reach for the sky instead of shooting for the moon. But imagine you're in a classroom, you're surrounded by your fellow students, and a teacher walks through the door. They say, everyone, let's count to 3. Ready? And you, looking around, think, all right, so I don't know what we're doing here, but everybody else probably does, so I'm gonna just join in. And so you do it. 1, 2, 3. And then the teacher walks out the door. Like, what the? That is exactly what all the guides and gurus have been doing to all of us. There's something missing. The boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. Energy Signature 1 is the first step on the evolutionary path, the ascension pathway. We're in that separation energy, and the goal is inner union. And then as we enter Energy Signature 2, we begin to reconnect with our higher self and sometimes even our person in the physical. Maybe reconciliation happens. And the thing that everyone's been shooting for, reunion, is just mission alignment. It's not the boom. Divine partnership and the sacred co-creation, that's the boom. That's the energy. That's the thing that no one told you were really fighting for. That's why not every reconciliation leads to reunion, but every true union is preceded by reconciliation. When we shift from union chasing to mission living, everything changes. When divine feminines arrive in Energy Signature 3, they're no longer just healing, they're building. They're not just loving, they're leading. This phase is about what you do after the pain. And when you've come back to yourself, the divine is asking, now that you remembered who you are, what will you do with it? If you're confused about your current energy signature, or if you're a first awakened twin fully aware you've been sliding back and forth because you aren't exactly sure how to anchor yourself in the blissful peace of reunion vibrations, the Sacred Partner Ascension Pathway is everything you never knew you needed and more. This self-guided healing program is devoted to guiding the divine feminine and our more rare first awakened divine masculines out of the fog and into the light. This pathway will guide you from pain to purpose, from separation to service, from confusion to co-creation. This is not just a course, it's a soul-coded map for the journey of a lifetime. All brought to you by a real, reunited twin flame, tested and tried by thousands of first awakened twins in the global collective, and gathered during one of the most prolific reunion seasons in our generation's history. If you're tired of asking, is reunion here yet? Will they come back now that I've surrendered? Am I finished with all this work? This pathway can help you answer questions like, how do I honor what I've become? How can I serve the light with integrity? And what can we build with or without physical union? Because you didn't come here just to find your person, you came here to become your person, to reclaim your voice, to walk in your purpose, to prepare the garden for when your counterpart is finally ready to plant with you. And until then, you'll build something sacred, eternal, and wildly divine, because that's who you are now. That's the light you carry. Let's get to work. Union energy is not about arrival, it's about assignment. The divine feminine who shoots for divine co-creation with divine will land in reunion energies. It's just the way it works. But you have to believe that. You have to believe that you'll reach that stage, because the divine feminine who reaches this stage is not the same one who cried on the floor during stage 1. They're a keeper of prophecy, a weaver of legacies, an ambassador of a higher order. High vibrational divine feminines carry the codes of creation, the language of remembrance, and the authority to plant what will feed the collective soul. And whether her counterpart joins her or not, she is home. If you're interested in learning more, you can get our 3-part separation masterclass as a free bonus with the full 7-phase Sacred Partner Ascension pathway. Or you can access the teaching as a part of the New Wave Prophecy Twin Flame Searching for Truth series. This video found you for a reason. If you need twin flame healing, this pathway is the way to go. Because the twin flame journey is not a linear love story, it's a soul initiation. It breaks you open, calls you deeper, and refines you through every energetic phase of connection, separation, awakening, and alignment. Most spiritual paths don't speak the language of the twin flame experience, but ASCENT does. This program doesn't just offer tools, it offers spiritual scaffolding, a path designed for those walking through divine fire. Whether you're asking, where's my person, or what am I here to do for the divine? This step-by-step, self-guided journey holds space for your emotional healing, energetic alignment, and spiritual empowerment. The twin flame experience was never just about love. It was about becoming. And this bundle is your spiritual support system, designed to guide you into remembrance, alignment, and mission. The pathway is open. Will you walk it?